gotta start filming before I go way down a fucking emotional rabbit hole. There's a reason why I call it running and crying. Sometimes it just rips your soul open. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't. Motivation is a nothing. Nothing. It's a carrot and a fucking stick. You want a treat, or do you want me to beat you? It's not trick or treat. That's kind of funny. It's not trick or treat. It's treat or beat. Do what I tell you. You get a little snack. Don't do what I tell you, and I'll beat you. Motivation is nothing. Inspiration is everything. Like, when I'm out here, I'm not listening to shit to get me jacked up. Listening to shit to, motivate me and make me smile. I'm listening to shit to connect me with who I am and to inspire me to keep going. And we all spend a long time doing it because it's what we're taught to do. We sit around looking around, trying to find ourselves. It's like, Michelangelo looking around trying to find David. Never would have happened. Never. It just wouldn't. It is an impossibility. So Michelangelo said that when he carved the statue of David, it wasn't his work. He didn't create David. He just chipped away every piece of rock that wasn't David. He released and he freed him. Oh, that's what life is, man. You just pick up that hammer and you gotta go out. You gotta be able to see who you are. Figure out who you are really. Chip away all the bullshit that doesn't fucking matter. All the garbage. I don't want to be out here. It's fucking cold today. I'm sore. I know I said it in other videos, but I'm going to say it 4,000 times. Because this is the most important part I get, and it has nothing to do with being out here. I don't know where you might be on the other side of the world right now, other side of town. You might have broken your leg, you might have crippling anxiety or self-confidence, esteem problems, which, hey, if it was the last two, I can help you with those. Just the first ones, well, you can buy your own plane ticket. But the most important thing I could hammer home to anybody is that there is no difference between you and anybody. It's not me. It has nothing to do with me. I don't give a fuck about me. Who I am does not matter. The impact I can have on the world matters. But who I am doesn't matter in the slightest. Any single reason why you differentiate yourself from other people is just a fucking excuse. An excuse you use to try to feed your ego. And it doesn't matter whether you're giving yourself an excuse as to why they're better than you, or giving yourself an excuse as to why you're better than them. All you're doing is you're giving yourself an excuse to stay the same, to not move. Because guess what? Not moving's safe. Cozy in bed, food in the fridge, roof over your head. Ain't nothing trying to fucking kill you. But there's somebody trying to rob you. One of my favorite books is by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Now, Napoleon Hill, oh, my hand's frozen. Napoleon Hill He wrote this book before he died. I want to say it was 30. I don't know exactly what it was. Anyways, he wouldn't publish it. He was too afraid of the religious establishment. And even when he died, his wife wouldn't publish it. Too afraid. The reason why he was afraid is because the book, Outwitting the Devil, it's a fictional account. But it's told as a narrative, a conversation between two men. Between Napoleon Hill and the devil. The reason why I say two men is because, you know what, ain't no way a woman would play those fucking, as much as I say, and I always say, women are the devil. No. Women wouldn't fuck up the world like this. You know what's the devil? Stupidity and ignorance. And men are way fucking stupider and way more ignorant than women. And I think that's one of the reasons why is because we have to have this facade of being strong. And it's not even a facade. We have to be strong because that's where our value lies. Protecting, our family, our tribe. A million years ago, it was a lion showing up. Hey, wifey, kids, hide behind the tree. I'm going to fuck up that lion. And then I'd go get eaten so you could live to see another day. And so most of the stuff, most of the bad shit that we do is our ego. Trying to protect ourselves from feeling weak. So in Outwitting the Devil, the conversation is between Napoleon Hill and the devil. And so Napoleon Hill got granted access to an interview with the devil. It doesn't say why, but the devil has to tell him the truth. Has to. No matter what he asks, he has to tell him the truth. And we're not going to ruin the whole story because it's awesome. And it is one of the, I own a ton of books, like thousands. Like one of my buddies says, there's worse things you could be addicted to than education, like crystal meth. Crystal meth would probably be fucking cheaper. So you go see your crystal meth dealer, you don't fucking drop $700 on meth. Or maybe you do, I don't know. But so he has this one-time access to the devil. And the main point of the whole thing, and the thing that makes the devil chuckle and laugh more than anything, is that human beings and God has us convinced that hell is something that we visit after we die. But the devil is somebody who exists outside of us. And it just makes him laugh because his greatest power is that he has no power. His power, he exists in between our ears. His only power is that of suggestion, of convincing you to sabotage your own life. And it's the only book, or one of the only books that I would say you get the audiobook instead of the, that's where I was going with the whole I have tons of books thing. Get the audiobook instead, because the two characters, the two guys that play Napoleon Hill and the devil, they do an excellent job of playing their role. And you're just listening, you're literally just listening in on a conversation between Napoleon Hill and the devil. Actually, maybe that's what I'm gonna listen to while I run today. But the reason where I was going with this, it's funny because the whole thing, and I keep saying it here in these videos, is that it's a battle of you against you. And the funny thing about that is that's what that whole thing is he's just like, I just keep you in fear and make sure you waste your life and your potential. And that's the thing, is that, I can't remember who said it, but so the graveyard is the richest place in the world. Because everything that you don't use, all the ideas you had, all the ambitions you had, potential, talent, all the dreams that you didn't execute on or chase, they die with you. And so you show up to the graveyard, and the Grim Reaper is sitting there with his hands out, saying, sorry bitch, you can't take anything with you. So every time somebody dies, the Grim Reaper gets richer. I've said it a million other things, I'll say it here. My goal is to get to the end of my life and to look the Grim Reaper in the face and just smile and be like, dude, you're too late. Because I left it all out there. You know, one of the big things over the past decade or two has been the wealthy making a pledge to give it all away before they die. There's actually a really good book. If you ever see me, when you see me talking and then all of a sudden I just fucking choke up like that, it's because, especially when I talk about people, it's like, you know, you talk about certain people and what they do, and it's just like you're sifting through the dirt in a river and you find a chunk of gold. And you're like, fuck. There is good shit out there. But for me, it's like when I see people who inspire me of what humanity could be, what humanity is if it could look at the devil and smile. When I see that, it's just like a punch in my gut. So, you know, when you see me talking and suddenly get choked, that's why. Just inspired. It gives me hope. There's a really good book called The Billionaire Who Wasn't. It's about Chuck Feeney, who's the guy that owned he started and owned all the duty-free stores. Like when you go to the airport or whatever. It's worth $8 billion. There's a story about him giving, see? Like, who the fuck does that? Who gives away $8 billion? Good people. People who have found the truth. They sat there chasing to get what they thought would make them happy, and then they realized, holy fuck. It doesn't matter. Because they know they can't be buried with it. Alex Hormozi says that. He says that he's realized that life is just like a poker game. You show up, you get some chips, and you play your best. You try to collect as many fucking chips as you can. But when you get up from the table, you gotta leave all the chips behind. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You don't get to keep them. I was watching an interview with Rob Lowe a little while ago. So Rob Lowe went through, he was sort of one of the brat pack in Hollywood. Not the rat pack, but the brat pack. And he, so it was like a group of actors in the late 80s, early 90s who, they were just the bad boys, right? So like Robert Downey Jr., Rob Lowe, I don't know who else was in there. Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp, probably. I should have a book. I can picture it. I can't picture the exact faces on it, though. But he was on, I can't remember what he was on. If it was Charlie Rose, but they asked, they're like, why are so many celebrities drug addicts and alcohol? Like, why do they have, addiction problems? And Rob Lowe, he didn't, because I don't see that time of year. It's just, people suffer when they don't understand. And so, he didn't even skip a beat as to why so many celebrities have addiction problems. He's like, I can tell you right now why they have addiction problems. He's like, so when you try to be the best, when you try to, go out there, give it your all, and become somebody who matters, and, get all these things, all this fame and notoriety, money, when you try to become famous and become a celebrity, and be the absolute best. Morning, how you doing? It's interesting. Side note, how many people I walk by in here that are deathly afraid of human connection and rejection. I won't even look at you, won't even smile. Eyes to the ground. I don't blame them. They've obviously been through some shit they have to deal with. I just feel bad that they got dealt whatever cards they did, and they haven't found a way to get past that. Lift your eyes. Smile at people. They're going through the same shit you are. Make their day better. Even if you, that guy that just walked by that said hi to, there was no way we were having any sort of meaningful connection whatsoever. Unless I initiated. And guess what? He went from miserable to, oh my God, a human's talking to me. And he cracked a tiny smile. It's not hard to make other people happy, because that's what actually makes us happy. And so Rob Lowe, he goes and he becomes famous, gets all the money, fame, best of the world. And he's like, so the whole time you're fighting for what it is for your career, for what it is you want, for the fame, and you're working harder than everybody else. You're trying to fill a void in your soul. There's a hole there. And you think that achieving this thing is going to fill it. And then after years and years and years and years, decades, you achieve what you want. But the hole's still there. Then what? What you believed about the world wasn't true. You took your only lifeline and realized that it wasn't actually something that could save you. And so the only way you can get these feelings to go away, the inadequacy, the feeling you get when you look in the mirror, is through self-medication, through addiction, sex, drugs, rock and roll. If you can't see yourself, you don't have to face yourself. And it's not until you dive into the actual truth, and not opinions of truth, but scientific fact of truth. It's not until you understand what you are that you can understand what you should be. So man, we're all just scared little monkeys running around. I'm walking through this park, and the reason why I stop here is because the trail where you're going to start running is right there. Walking through this park, there's all the animals, the birds, the squirrels, coyotes, owls. I see beaver. I've been coming here for 15 years. I've seen a beaver once. I didn't know this, but beaver, or I do now, but I didn't before. I'm like, why have I never seen a beaver? Beavers are actually nocturnal. I did not know that. I see muskrats, ducks, loons. Lots of people, lots of doggies. But when you understand what you are, you understand why you exist. Because what you are is a human, and humans' happiness. And I go into it, and I'm putting together, and by the time you watch this, it'll probably be out. Because it's one of the most important videos, is understanding happiness. Because it's all humans want, happiness and hope for a better future. How do you hit a target you can't see? You ask 100 people what's happiness, they'll give you 100 different answers. But that's not what happiness is. Those are things that cause happiness. Because happiness is only one thing. It's a chemical reaction in your head. That's it. Something makes you happy, it's causing a chemical reaction in your head. Now, the question you have to ask is why? Why does that chemical reaction exist? It's a reward. Being happy is a reward for doing things that keep you alive, that help you survive. Because 1,000,000 years ago, if you didn't do things that would help you survive, or if you did things that were detrimental to your existence, you would die. So all our ancestors that thought it was a good idea to punch grizzly bears in the face, their DNA did not go on. So I guess they aren't actually our ancestors. They're people that once lived. But their DNA did not go on because they died. So all we're left with, when you weed out all the people, all the heroes that thought punching bears was fun, all we're left with are a bunch of scared people that don't want to punch grizzly bears, which is good because we stay alive. And so when you understand, and for, more in depth on it, you'll watch the other video I make, but there's a big difference between pleasure and fulfillment. Money can buy you all the pleasure in the world. Pleasure is happiness in the moment. Fulfillment is your constant baseline of happiness, which is linked to your overall probability of survival, which is, linked to your value among other people. The only way you'd be truly fulfilled is if you have a large tribe of people that love you and value you highly. And realistically, that's semantics. Love is just being valued highly by other people. But to be valued, you have to be valuable. You don't get to be valued just for showing up, because you're not valuable for showing up. You're valuable for being valuable. And that's why when you see a lot of successful people out there turn to, philanthropic things, and they'll just give up careers to go do things that actually matter. It's because after they achieve the quote-unquote success that society told them is important, they realize that it's not, and it can't make them fulfilled. They don't know it. Like, there is a handful of people on this planet that have sat and asked themselves the question of why enough, and actually broke it down, got off the treadmill, and just sat and thought to actually understand what happiness is. So most people have to go through getting what they want, or getting what they think is going to make them happy, before they realize they were wrong and that they weren't lied to. They were given fake news, misinformation, because I think lying is a intentional thing. Because the people out there telling us what to do, how to do it, most of the time they're not doing it. Like, your parents aren't doing it because they want to deceive you and make you not happy. They're doing it. They're telling you what they believe, what they dedicated their lives to, because somebody else told them that. It's like, oh, why are you a Christian? Oh, because God, blah, blah. No, because you were born where Christians are. Your parents were Christians. People around you were Christians, so you took on their dogma because you felt that it helped your life, or you enjoyed the tribalism or whatever it is. But if you'd been born in the middle of a Muslim country, guess what you'd be? It's only when we stop and actually question what is true that we can put our life in the right direction and point ourselves towards getting what we want, because you have to know the rules of the game. And the game is, we're just a bunch of animals. There are things that make us happy, there's things that make us sad and upset, and whatever else. And when you understand that, you can take control of your life so fast. Because otherwise you're going to get whatever it is that you're chasing that you think is going to make you happy. And the sad thing is, most people never get what they're chasing, so they don't even get to figure out that it's not going to make them happy. But if you do, you're suddenly going to have to stare at that big void and realize that it's still there. Because the thing that you tried to fill it with just burst into flames, because it doesn't matter. Pleasure is an endless pit. The only way you can truly be fulfilled is by going and helping other people, and that's it. But, obviously you have to take care of yourself, and you have to make money and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? The only way you make money is by helping other people, unless you're an asshole and you just hurt other people. But that's just hacking the system. Helping other people is what makes you valuable. Being valuable is what makes you happy. Go help other people make a ton of money. Oh, I shouldn't have stopped. My whole body seized up. Go make a ton of money. Become valuable. And you'll be able to become fulfilled. But you have to understand what target you're aiming at before you decide to pull the trigger. Most people are like, going hunting in these woods, and they got their eyes closed, and they just got an automatic weapon, and they're firing off, trying to hit anything. It's not going to happen. You don't even know what you're hunting for. Figure out your target, figure out where it exists, aim, and then fire the weapon. Einstein said that. He said that, if I had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes defining what the problem is. And then I'd spend 5 minutes on the solution, once I understood what the problem is. Elon Musk does that with first principles thinking. You can look that up. He has videos of him talking about it, and that's how he did everything that he did. The problem isn't you don't have all this stuff, I don't have money, blah, 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 blah. The problem is, I go, you don't know me? Yeah, I do. Because who you are doesn't matter. It's what you are. And you are the same thing I am. You're the same thing everybody else is. Human beings are all the same as far as what we are. And you need to spend those first 55 minutes understanding what you are, how you operate, what the target actually is. Not having all that stuff. Not being cool on Instagram. That's not the problem. The problem is you don't know what the target is. So you don't have clarity around which way you should move in order to hit it. And once you gain that clarity, life becomes so much easier. And it took me 40 years of, well, we'll say 10 years. Because the first 20 you're a kid, the next 10 you're trying to figure out what the heck is this world thing. Once you hit 30, you got a chance to actually figure shit out. Unless somebody comes along and can give you the answers. So I spent the past decade and hundreds of thousands of dollars, thousands, tens of thousands of hours sifting through all the dirt and the garbage trying to find the truth, and I found it. And it doesn't matter what Neil deGrasse Tyson says that. It's a good thing about science. It's true, whether you believe it or not. And what I just said about what happiness actually is just a scientific fact. That's what happiness has to be. Otherwise, none of us would be alive, and neither would any of these animals. Happiness is just something. It's a cattle prod. It's something that pushes us in the right direction to stay alive. And when you understand what it is, then you can understand what causes it. Then you can understand exactly what you should be doing with your life. Now I'm going to go for a run. And here's I hate running. Here's a tip on how to make running suck a little less. Understand why you're running. Everybody runs. Most of the time, most people are running from something. Instead of running from something, while you're running, picture yourself running towards something. Run towards what you want. It's just anticipation of the future. What's going to happen in the future? Something good or something bad? If you anticipate something bad, that's anxiety. If you anticipate something good, that's excitement. It's arousal. Run towards what you want. You will run fucking harder than you ever thought you can run. Let's go get it.